This is the story that gives me chills whenever I think about it, and stuff that I've brushed off or ignored for ages is now making a bit more sense. So, you know when you feel like you're being watched, and you get that prickling at the back of your neck and the hairs on your arms stand on end? Most of the time when you look up you'll find someone staring at you. Sometimes they'll look away quickly or not realise they're actually doing it and will keep staring like they're trying to see into your soul. But what if you look up and there's no one there? No one in the room with you, no one in the house, and no one watching outside the window. Luckily, the feeling isn't malicious, it's more like someone's just there. I get that feeling far more than what is probably normal, and now I know who to blame. So I have a lovely niece, she's just turned 4 and she's very curious about absolutely everything.
Where are you going? What are you doing? Who's that? What's that? Why? Why? Why?
She's also pretty fearless. She's not afraid of the dark or heights. She laughs at the idea of monsters, and so far the only thing she's ever been afraid of is the doll heads my younger sister used for hairdressing practice, which are actually really creepy, so I don't blame her. So 2 years ago, when she was 2, I was drawing on the sofa and she came over to see what I was doing. It's a rare thing to get her to sit still for more than a few minutes, but she wanted to see, so I sat her beside me and she starts asking,
Draw me! Draw Catherine! Draw Nanny!
This goes on for about 10 minutes, and to be honest, I was glad to do what she wanted because it gave me a break from horse, which was her favourite game. It was all going fine until she asked me,
Draw the man!
What man? Do you mean Grandad? My dad's not sitting in the room like everyone else, but maybe she's bored of me drawing the same people over and over again and wants someone different.
No! The big man!
And then she looks from me to the open lounge door and into the empty hallway. My niece has a big imagination, and she's 2, so I dismiss it completely and distract her by drawing us sitting together. She doesn't ask me to draw the big man again, and I forget about it. Until a few weeks later when we're looking after her again. I'm in the lounge with my younger sister and my nan, and we're playing shops with my niece who's running back and forth between the lounge and the kitchen bringing us pretend food. She gives me an apple, my nan gets a melon, and my younger sister gets some grapes. She does this 3 times, but on the 4th trip to the shop, she runs into the hallway and stops suddenly. Then she turns around and runs back to us and says,
I'm scared.
What? Why?
There's a ghost.
Where?
In Nanny's room. Come see, Catherine.
She grips my hand tightly and I follow her into the hall. I believe in ghosts only because so many strange things have happened to me and other people I know that are just beyond reasonable explanation. My heart is beating quite fast at this point, but I put on a smile because I don't want to scare her. In all honesty, I don't want to go see. I will freely admit that I am a coward and will avoid any situation at any cost. But I love my niece and I like to think she thinks I'm brave. I stand in the doorway to my nan's room holding her hand and look around. See? There's nothing here. And at first glance, everything is normal. Then I notice the photographs. When you get to a certain age and have several grandchildren, birthdays and Christmas gifts usually turn into photographs of said grandchildren. Which is nice, but there comes a point where you run out of room. My nan has photos on dresses, the walls, the windowsill, and more recently they'd also spread to the chest beneath it. She's pretty tidy and so usually everything is neatly in its place, and if it's not, it soon goes there when she has a tidy up, which is why I noticed it. All the photographs, except one, are face down on this chest. And the only one that remains standing is a picture of my granddad, who had passed away just over 15 years ago that very week. Now it could just be a coincidence. The dogs could have knocked over the pictures, but they'd been with us all day and we hadn't heard them fall. Or it could have been my niece, but usually she will straight up admit if she's done something wrong and let you know so you can fix it with her. I start getting a weird feeling and the hairs on my arms stand on end. So I take my niece back to the lounge and distract her with making pretend tea using some coloured pots she likes to play with. I tell my nan and sister quietly about the photographs and my weird feeling, and seeing as my niece is completely fine pretending to make us tea, I'm totally prepared to write it off and forget about it. But because my sister likes to scare me and is far too curious for her own good, she goes into the other room and brings out the photo. My weird feeling comes back.
Darling, who's this?
My niece looks up, sees the photo and says,
It's the big man.
We didn't say much after that, and my nan said even less. I told my sister to put the photo back and talk about something else when she tried to bring it up again. It wasn't until my parents arrived home and my niece had left that we really spoke about it. Sure, it's always been a bit of a laugh when we hear knocking or footsteps in the hall when everyone's asleep, like, oh, that's our ghost. But now we know who it was. It was different. There's been reports from families who say their children have seen people who have passed away that they couldn't possibly know about, and this just might be one of those times. Since that day, my niece hasn't mentioned the big man again, and until asking her to repeat back to me her lines for an earlier version of this video, no one has brought it up with her either. I've wanted to share this story with you guys since I first started posting, so I hope you like this one. Let me know what your favourite bit was down in the comments. Big thank you to Hopeless Peaches who voiced my niece, my sister who helped out with her line, and the awesome composer Shirokishi who made the music for this end card. I've got loads more stories I want to share, some non-scary ones too, so subscribe if you want to see more tutorials and animations from me, and I'll be back with another video real soon. Bye!